I'm from the Huasteca region. I'm 20 years old now, but all of this happened to me when I was 17. Back then, I was really caught up in trouble. I used to hang out with the guys from the spot because I wanted to feel like I belonged to something. And little by little, I got more involved. First with his son, then later selling. My family was already fed up. Every time they saw me, they scolded me. They wanted to put me in rehab because I wasn't the same anymore, but I didn't care about anything. I was always getting high.
You already know what I mean.
Without thinking about anything. Honestly, I didn't even care about my life. There was a lady I used to hang out with, one of those who do witchcraft and that kind of stuff. One time she told me straight up that I was already done for and that at any moment they were going to catch me. But instead of scaring me, she offered to send me with a contact who worked for the Gulf, and just to get out of trouble. I thought it was a good idea in my head. I believed I was going to be selling or a lookout, things like that. The typical stuff you imagine when you're off in your own world and listening to corridos. I never thought how far I would go. When I talked to the contact, I told him I was coming on behalf of Senora. He asked if I was in and if it could be done. That same day, I thought it was going to be somewhere nearby, like in La Huasteca or Ciudad Valles. But no. That same day, they picked me up in a new gray Versa and took me to the Valles bus station. They gave me money, a sandwich, and bought me a ticket to Ciudad Victoria. They told me not to get off the bus, to send photos, and to let them know when I arrived. That's when they told me they were from the Hotel del Golfo, and instead of feeling scared, I felt important. I realized I'm no longer just the neighborhood guy. Now I'm part of something big. I arrived in Victoria around 11 at night. They told me to get out and look for a black Jetta with tinted windows. When I got in, there was a guy they called Commander Blue One and a girl. I hardly asked any questions. They told me we were going to have dinner and then go to a hotel, but actually we hit the road. We went to Yerra de Canales, and from there we went into the Pedro J. Mendez Ejido. We arrived at a half-abandoned house, but it was a safe house in a cattle area. Old streets, nothing that would attract attention. That's where reality hit me. There were about 17 men, all looking like soldiers. People from Matamoros, Rio Bravo, San Fernando. Some greeted me, others started joking around. When I said I was from La Huasteca, they laughed and told me that now I was really going to know war. For real. That the Gulf had entered Yerra to drive out the Northeasterners, and that they needed people, but not to sell or be lookouts, but to fight. That's when I realized I was already involved in something more serious than I had imagined. They gave me 2 weeks of training, and I wasn't even 18 yet. It was training, police training, because there was they said so. And what's even stranger is that nobody there used anything. They had discipline. And honestly, I didn't even feel the withdrawal. The fear was stronger because I was already in deep trouble, like they say there. After that, little by little, I got used to being without a phone. In the middle of the wilderness, together with other guys going out in infantry groups, they sent us to surround huts where the ones from the Northeast were and to give them a proper greeting. Not to put it harshly, but you get used to it. You become cold. All that because I didn't know what I wanted for my life because I was messing around. I spent about 8 months in there. I saw things that I still remember to this day, things that really change you, that make you lose sensitivity. You become tougher, more indifferent. After several months, they managed to take over the area, and I ended up being part of that. Today, I'm 20 years old. I'm in Nuevo Laredo, trying to do things right, far from my family. That time impacted me and made things clear. It wasn't necessity, but not knowing what I wanted and wanting to escape my problems. Because of living a bad life and wanting to feel like I belonged to something, I ended up getting into something much worse. I was a lookout with those people from the Gulf in the Lobos group in Yerra, Tamaulipas, fighting against the ones from the Northeast. And that's something not just anyone can say. If you also have a story you want to share, send it to me, Cornell, to my email or any of my social media accounts. I'll read it as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching the video. Honestly, it really helps a lot if you like, comment, or share. And if you enjoy this kind of content, you can subscribe. I really appreciate it. See you next time.